Some passengers are actually cashing in on the TSA backlash. Delta Airlines wants to make sure the public knows it is the government and not them. So the airline is now offering passengers a possible refund if they booked a ticket but bail out on the trip due to the TSA groping. To our freedom fighters, Fox Business Network stocks editor and my good friend Elizabeth McDonald, EMAC, radio talk show host Leslie Marshall, and Reason Magazine's senior editor Jacob Sullum. Jacob, to you first. Are you surprised that the free market is actually going to play some kind of a role here? The government interferes between private carriers and their customers at the most critical juncture, and the carriers say, you know what, if the government prevented you from getting here, here's your money back.
No, it doesn't surprise me very much. I'm not sure how much it's going to actually end up costing Delta, because I'm not sure what share of tickets are non-refundable to begin with. It would only affect the ones that are non-refundable. Probably that's a little bit higher during the holiday season than it would otherwise be. And so you're talking about some percentage of all tickets that are non-refundable, and then a certain percentage of those people who are going to be put off enough by the new security procedures that they actually choose not to fly. Well, so I think it probably is not very much money to them, but it helps them put a good face on this. Right. As you said, they can say it's not our fault, it's the government's fault.
It's the government's fault. This really is an anomaly, Leslie, isn't it? Because if the government makes you late for a flight, you can't sue the government. If the TSA agents were private and they made you late for a flight, you could at least get into the courthouse door. So question, should the government be protecting private property and telling the airlines who to allow on their planes, or should the airlines be making those decisions?
Wow. That's a loaded question, Judge, because as you know, right now they may be offering on Delta to reimburse people who don't want to be groped or be exposed to radiation. But how much are they going to be paying if somebody has a bomb on one of those planes and all their family members want to sue the airline in the future? And Delta today has a bigger problem in the luggage department, as we saw at Logan. So, Judge, I'll tell you, I don't like my civil liberties infringed upon, and as badly as over the weekend when I flew to Chicago and I begged, nobody would grope me.
All right. I understand Delta is going to do this on a case-by-case basis, that this is not going to have anything to do with the price of the ticket that you bought. So I guess you're going to have, EMAC, you're going to have to demonstrate to Delta, I was ready to go, but they put me on a line, and by the time I got to the head of the line, the plane had left.
Yeah, it's my understanding, I think, my read of it is you would have to have some kind of a medical condition that would have interfered with the TSA pack down, and then you couldn't make the flight. So, and I agree with Leslie, I want to be safe. I've been patted down. I want to be safe. But the question is, will other airlines follow along and doing what Delta does? What Delta's doing is just basically good PR. I think this whole issue goes away after the holidays. But the more important issue is what happens to the TSA. Does the TSA eventually get unionized by the AFL-CIO?
All right, I want to go to your field especially. What happens to the airline stocks, to the value of the airlines, to their capitalization when the TSA materially interferes with their ability to put customers on, no matter how noble the TSA's motivation may be? I question its nobility. I question its motivation. It's clearly unconstitutional. But put that aside. What does it do to the stocks?
It's immaterial. What matters more if passengers, innocent passengers, are bombed out of their seats. And also, of course, jet fuel always swings, causes airline stocks to swing wildly. But again, we have to talk more about what happens to the TSA. Will it get unionized by the AFL-CIO? Will that be a hindrance to airline relations over there in the airports when they're already under severe duress?
Jacob, in the past 2 days, the TSA has taken the shirt off a 6-year-old boy and patted his chest, has cut the urine bag of a colostomy patient, has destroyed the implant in a woman's breast. How much farther do we have to go before we become a nation of sheep?
I'm not sure, but I do like your proposal of making this the airline's responsibility, because what that means is they have to weigh the cost in terms of lost business on both ends, both in terms of making the flight secure, but also in terms of humiliating people and inconveniencing them and adopting policies that impose a great burden on customers without much payoff in terms of security. The federal government doesn't have to worry about the other side of the equation. They will impose as much of a burden on people as they can get away with. They don't have to worry about losing customers.
Leslie,
so
before
like
the break, should the government be
making the profit motive work for us?
Got it.
Sorry.
I was wrong. The father of the child took the shirt off at the request of the TSA. But should government be doing this? Should government be humiliating people? Isn't there a better way in a free society to retain individual dignity and respect, Leslie Marshall?
Well, I'll tell you, Judge, this happened a long time ago. We may be talking about it now, but I have witnessed kids' little blankies and teddy bears being taken away, and I'm a mom of 2 toddlers, and I'll tell you, my fist will end up in somebody's face. You take my kid's blankie or
Oh,
pull
I
up
like
his
to
shirt.
hear that.
There's a smarter way to do it. There's a
But,
smarter
you know,
way.
yes,
to
there
profile
isn't
it.
necessarily. I agree
Before we
with
get
that.
to
There
the
is a
smarter way, we need to
of
take a
doing
break.
it.
McDonald, Sullivan, Marshall, stick with it.